In this video I'll show you a tool that allows you to create custom grids for data center floor tile layouts, which you can use later in other design tools as a basis. Let's get straight into it. It runs as a web page on a local web server. I've got up and running, and you can specify the various sizes of the tiles, how many tiles you've got, the thickness of the border between the tiles. So let's just run it with the default values, and we get an image that's 8 tiles across by 4 down or 4 deep. I've got it set up so the tiles are 60 pixels square and the border around each tile is 2 pixels. So if I change some of these parameters here, let's have 20 tiles across and say 10 deep. We'll make the tiles slightly smaller, so that's probably a bit more representative for starting to lay out a data center layout with your racks, etc. You could even specify a rectangular width of data center tile. I have to admit, I've never seen a data center with rectangular tiles, but if you ever came across one, this is the tool that will allow you to start off with a good basis. You can go quite thick borders, but it does look a little bit odd. Or the thinnest possible border of 1, and that's looking quite nice. Some packages for a background image, a tile width of 64 pixels by 64 pixels is actually quite good, because that scales up and down quite nicely, basically because it's a power of 2. You can also run this on the command line. So I've got the program on my Windows machine in a directory here on its own, so I'll run the program dcft.py, and I will specify a big pile of command line arguments to it that basically specify the same thing. So TA for tiles across, we'll have 20 tiles across. TD for tiles deep, 10 tiles deep. Pixels across for the size of the tile in pixels of a single tile, and pixels down 32 as well. We'll specify the number of border pixels to be 4, and then I can also specify the name of the image file to create on my directory, mytiles.png. Run that. Let's do another directory listing, and we've got a file there called mytiles.png, and let's run up MS Paint. And that's showing you the which it's created. So 2 ways to do this from a web browser. If we go back on the web browser, once you've created your image, if you click the link to download floor tile, that just shows you the image on its own in your browser, and then just use your browser to save image as, and you can save the image onto your desktop. There it is, just appearing there. So there's 2 ways to do it. Now, software to do this, they're very generous. You can have this for free. It's up on GitHub. So if you go up to github.com, just search for DC floor tiles. It'll come up one repository, Andy Cranston DC floor tiles. Click on that. If you want to download the whole thing, you can just click on the clone or download and download a zip file with all the files in it. Unzip it and have a look. But you can also take a look at the files from these links here, and the README file. There's some documentation on there on basically what the program does, or you've already seen that, and then how to get it running on a web server. There's some basic instructions there, and also how to get it running on the command line, a few extra little bits and pieces in there, and just some things about performance and other bits and pieces which you can have a read on. And some links there of useful websites that were handy when I actually put all the code together as well. So, something to enjoy for the weekend maybe. And there again, that's the link straight to the GitHub repository with code. And if you want any help with it, drop me an email, and I'll be happy to try and help. All right, thanks for listening.